Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing today? Amazing day. It is an amazing day in the land of the U.S. My Lord, help us. Help us, Jesus. All we can call on nobody but the Lord. Nobody but the Lord. But hello. How is everybody doing? Have you received your stimulus yet? We're going to talk about the stimulus update. Now, the information that finally came out for the PPP2, that's what they call it, PPP2. That's for Paycheck Protection Program. They just came out with some detailed information on that on last evening. Now, I will be covering that probably on the next live, but I'm going to give a review of our stimulus pay out for individuals. Okay. Now you can drop me some questions. I'm going to try to answer a few questions at the end. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see you guys coming in. Hello, Charlene, Trey, Dentist, Leah. How you guys doing? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in with Miss Jackson on today. We're going to be talking about our stimulus update. Okay. As you know, you should have already received your stimulus payment of $600 for individual. Okay. Now it will be $600 for dependents under the age of 16 and below. Okay. So if you have a dependent on your tax return, ages 16 and below, you should receive a $600 stimulus for that child also. And so that's married filing joint on your tax return. If that's the way you file your taxes, you receive $1,200 for your stimulus payment. Then if you have children on that tax return, you will be receiving an additional $600. Okay. Now, the amount that your household can make to get the full amount of the stimulus is $75,000 for single. And if you file married filing separate, it's $75,000. And then also, if you file head of the household, the amount is still $75,000, the max that you can make in order to receive the full amount of the second stimulus. Okay. Now, if you're married filing joint, it's two adults on the tax return, you can actually receive, you actually can make up to $150,000. Okay. And then if you have children on the tax return, you're going to get an additional $600 for each one of those children under the age of 16 and below. Now, I did see something in the IRS information that said that the college students that did not receive the stimulus before, it's a possibility that they can receive it now. Now, the question will still be in my mind is, how are they going to know to actually give that money to that college student? Now, I'm still researching that. Once I get into my new updated system, I'm going to actually put in a simulated tax return with that information and see how to break it out, how they break it out, and see if that additional money is going to come up for that college child. Okay, now the reason why I mentioned tax return, because if you have not received your stimulus by February the 15th, you will be able to receive your stimulus attached to your 2020 tax return. 2020 tax return is actually processed in this year, which is 2021. So you're going to be receiving your stimulus, even if you did not receive the first one, you have the opportunity to receive your stimulus on your tax return for this year. Okay. Now they are calling that the recovery rebate credit. So on your tax return, your tax preparer should be knowledgeable enough to actually show you that credit on your tax return once your taxes are complete. It is going to be probably initial down. The acronym is RRC, which will stand for Recovery Rebate Credit. Now, this is only for the people who did not receive their stimulus by February the 15th. If you have not received it by direct deposit, if you have not received it by check, if you have not received it by the EIP card, the Economic Income Payment Card, you will be able to receive this on your tax return as a credit, which is called the Recovery Rebate Credit. Okay, so make sure that if you received a letter from the IRS, make sure you take that in when you get your taxes done, because that's going to tell them whether you received your first stimulus and whether you received your second stimulus. And that way they can actually put it on the tax return. Now, remember, if you remember a few years back, they gave a rebate. I believe it was $500. People came in, got their taxes done and said, hey, I never received that rebate. Believe me, when they got their refund and they had received the rebate, their refund was less $500. So if you have not received the rebate, if you have not received the stimulus, let your tax preparer know that you have not received it, whether you have the letter or not, because the IRS is going to know if you received it, because once they get your tax return, it's toggle in the system to check for that stimulus check if you have received it or not. So just make sure that you have your information correct when you get your taxes done, because you're going to receive your stimulus on your tax return for this year if you have not already received it in the mail or by debit card or by direct deposit. Okay. Now, I've already mentioned who was eligible to receive the tax stimulus. Everybody with a Social Security number that meets the qualification according to the IRS. Okay. Now, also this second stimulus only. Now, if you have a ITIN number, you will be able to receive the second stimulus. You cannot receive the first stimulus, but the second stimulus you can. And so if you have an ITIN number, make sure you mention that to your tax preparer when you go in, that you had not received the stimulus or you have received the stimulus. Okay. If you're on Social Security, if you get Social Security disability, if you get veterans benefits, you do not have to do anything, because if you're not having to file a tax return, that means that they don't have that information regarding taxes, but they have your information in the government system under receiving those benefits. So you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is check your account where you're receiving your benefits for Social Security, for disability, for veterans benefits. That's where your stimulus will be deposited in that same account. Okay. The non-filer tool, if you did not actually put your information in the system by November the 21st of 2020, saying that you was a non-filer, that you're going to you don't have to do anything. Actually, you don't have to do anything. You should receive the stimulus. Okay. And people that did a simulated tax return, I believe when the first stimulus came out, they were saying that you had to do a simulated tax return if you was a non-filer before that actually system came up. So if you went in and you actually had someone to do a simple return for you, so you have a return in the system, you will receive the second stimulus and you don't have to do anything. Okay. Bank product customers. Okay. Now the second stimulus is based on 2019 tax return. Now the first stimulus, I know I'm mixing this in again, so I want to say it twice. The first stimulus that we received in March of 2020 was based on your 2018 tax return and your 2019 tax return information. This second stimulus is only based on 2019 tax information. The second stimulus is only based on the 2019 tax information. Okay, so whatever you have on that 2019 tax return, what address you have on there, what direct deposit information you have on there, that's where you're going to receive your stimulus. Okay, now for as the bank customers, if you actually went in and got your taxes done and you receive what they call a bank product, that is when you get your taxes done, you don't have to pay for preparation fee up front. You say, hey, take the preparation fee out of my refund. So therefore, you was presented with a bank product. So that means that your stimulus actually went from the IRS to the bank, then to you, because it had to take out the fees for your preparation, and then it came to you. Okay, now in between there, it has to go to the bank. So the bank is not going to have your stimulus. Okay, when you go to get my payment tool on the IRS, it's going to say that your check or whatever is attached to a bank account number. That number is going to have the last 4 digits of your social. If you're seeing that, once you put your information in, that means it went to the bank, but the bank sent it back to the IRS. So now you have to get a check or a debit card. Okay, IRS debit card with your stimulus on it. So if that's the case and you don't get it by the 15th of February, let your tax preparer know when you get your taxes done that you did not receive your stimulus. Now, as I repeat that, if you did a bank product for your 2019 tax return, you put your information into get my payment status of your stimulus, and it shows the last 4 digits of your social. Your stimulus went to that bank, but went back to the IRS. So do not go to your tax office and say, hey, you have my stimulus, because the tax office do not have your stimulus. It went back to the IRS. The IRS is going to mail it out to you by check or the IRS debit card. Okay. All right. Let's see if we have any questions here. And don't forget, you can go to irs.gov as in Victor. You're going to scroll down and it says get my payment to get the status of your stimulus. Okay. So, and it's going to ask you to put in your social security number. If you don't have a social and you have an ITIN number, it's going to ask for that information. Once you do that, it's going to ask for your address. Now, your address is what's on your tax return. Whatever was on your tax return you filed in 2019, that's the address that they're going to want you to put in the system, and then put in your zip code. And then you should be able to get some information regarding your status of your stimulus check. Now, they do have an 800 number that you can call. It is 1-800-919-9835. That is the stimulus line. Once you call them, choose option 1, wait. I don't know how long you have to wait. I tested out this morning. I waited an hour and a half, but I called about 10 o'clock. So I advise you to call at 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the evening. A lot of people don't know that the IRS is usually open till 7 o'clock. So if you ever need to contact the IRS, call them at 8 o'clock when they open, but then call them at 5 o'clock. Then you should be able to get in a lot quicker. Okay. So that's the information on the telephone number again, to the stimulus line is 1-800-919-9835. Now, if you have issues with, and it says that your stimulus was sent out and you never received it, once you call that line and you get to a person, make sure you tell them that. They will transfer you into the IRS so you can talk with someone to actually look at your file. Okay? All right, let's see if we have any questions. Let's see, my parents who hold green card holds never work, do they get the $600? Yes. If they should have an ITIN number. So yes, if they are able to get the ITIN number, they should be able to receive the $600. If the ITIN number needs to be renewed, go on and have them to renew the number. And even if they, if it takes a while for the ITIN number to come back and they have to go back and amend their tax return, they can still receive the stimulus at that time. Okay. Let's see. What if, oh, this is moving fast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Did they intercept the stimulus check for the child support? Far as I know, yes. Far as I know, the stimulus check for the child support will be withheld if they owe child support. Let's see. Hey, when do we get the next one? Okay, Mr. Martin. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to get to the next one, but since we know that the Democrat is going to have the majority rule in Congress now, so Biden, President-elect Biden in the Democratic Party is pushing for more stimulus. So hopefully we can get more stimulus, probably maybe by March or April. So we will see. So it is in the making. When unavailable, check Trent. Let me see. I have checked my transcript and said it was sent out on the 4th. Okay. So like I said before, call this number if you actually went into the system and it says your check has been sent out and you have not received that. You need to call the IRS at the stimulus line and let them know that it says in the system that you should have received it on the 4th, but it's the 7th. So probably give it another week. If you don't receive it, call the 1-800-919. What number is it, guys? Okay, I'll find that number in a minute because I have another number here. Let me go on and give you this number because this is for the EIP card that they sending out. If you have an issue with that debit card that they're sending out, whether you lost the card, whether you destroyed the card and did not know what it was, like I mentioned before, senior citizens might receive this card in the mail not knowing what it is, and they might discard it by accident. This is the number you need to call to replace that card. It's going to be 1-800-240-8100. That's 1-800-240-8100, and that's to the MetaBank customer service for the IRS debit card that they sent the stimulus on. Now, as I mentioned before, to the person that asked about, that's mentioned that their check went out and they haven't received it. If you say it went out on the 4th, that means today is the 7th. Give it another week or so. If you don't receive it, you're going to call the stimulus line, which is 1-800-919-9835. Okay, let's see. Can my parents have their own stimulus if my sister already claimed them? Okay, let me add, I can't ask you that because I probably won't be able to. But if your parents receive Social Security, they they should receive their stimulus in their account. Okay, it just depends on the age. Now, as I mentioned before, we have students that's over the age of 17. They say that it's a possibility that they will be getting the stimulus. So surely they're going to put up a non-filer portal. Again, I have not seen one as of yet, but keep check on that non-filer portal. Have your parents to go in and fill that information out so they can receive their stimulus. When I checked, mine said payment not available. Good question. Now, the IRS tax system is overwhelmed, okay? That could be possible or error. So give it a few more days and constantly go in there and check, because there's a possibility that it's just giving you that error because it's overwhelmed, okay? If it continue to give you that error, call 1-800-919-9835. Let's see. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be all of my questions for today. Thank you for so many questions. I have so many questions on here. Maybe I can just inbox you back some of these answers, but I do want to thank you for tuning in with Ms. Jackson. I've been doing taxes for over 30 plus years. I also work with people restoring credit. If you have a credit issue, we can help you in that area. If you have a business or desire to have a business and you need some assistance on which way to go and what direction to take, you can actually inbox me. I can assist you with that. I want to thank you once again for tuning in with Ms. Jackson right here on my channel. And also follow me. Follow me at Jackson and You Tax Service LLC on Facebook. All right. Thank you, guys. You all be blessed and pray for this country.